right, pre-calculus, let's go ahead and get moving. We are on lesson 1-6 and we are talking about inverse functions here. Our essential question today is, do you know how to find the inverse? That's what we'll be focusing on today. And we have to understand that the graph of an inverse is a reflection of y equals x. We will talk about this today. And we have to know what that looks like. And do you understand one-to-one? We might get that to today, might get to that tomorrow. An inverse function, they are created by interchanging the first and second coordinates. For example, y equals x plus 4. If a is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, b is equal to 5, 6, 7, 8. If I say f of x, sorry, I'm trying to highlight, f of x equals x plus 4, and I put 1 and 5 together, 2 and 6, 3 and 7, 4 and 8, the inverse, which is shown as f to the negative first, that is the inverse, equals x minus 4. And what's happening here is, notice these are just switched. So in this relation, a relation is a set of ordered pairs. Notice that they just flip, which makes it reflect over that y equals x, which is just a straight line. The first thing we're going to do is learn how to find the inverse. This is kind of a simple one, but I have a few steps, and we did this in Algebra 2. Y equals 8x. The first thing I do is I interchange the f of x for a y. Make f of x equal to y. Number 2, I'm going to change the x and y. So I'm going to put the x here. I'm going to put the y here. In the last step, I am just going to solve for y. This question doesn't have a lot to solve for y, but when I solve for y, I'm going to divide each side by 8. So notice that y is equal to x over 8. Now, I want you to remember to change the y back to the inverse of x. We are in pre-calculus. We're going to get used to switching that back. So my final answer is going to be the inverse of this function is x over 8. All right, example 2 is telling us to find the inverse function of this right here. So I will highlight. We're looking for the inverse of this. So I'm going to go through the steps. The first thing I'm going to do is change the f of x to a y. Now I'm going to change the x and the y. And remember, we are going to solve for y. So I'm solving for this y. I'm going to add 1 over first. X plus 1 equals 4y. When I divide each side by 4, I have the inverse of x is equal to x plus 1 over 4. All right, so now it's telling us to verify that both f of, when I put the inverse inside, and when I put the regular inside of the inverse are equal to the identity. Remember that identity is when we had it equal to x. So the first thing I'm going to start off with is I'm going to take this x right here, and I'm going to put the inverse in for that x. All right, we just want to verify. Remember, the last thing they said is that it is equal to, it reflects over y equals x. So that we need to know what this graph looks like. Remember that it is a linear graph. It goes through 0, 0. And remember, it just has a slope of 1. So over 1, up 1, over 1, up 1. So if I was to plug in 4x minus 1 in my TI-84, and x plus 1 over 4 in my TI-84, it should reflect over this line. So go ahead and check that for me. Great job today.